there. Yeah. And let's hear it for that amazing song, Funky Town. I mean, really, that song really should be getting played more on radio networks across the nation. And considering I'm not currently across the nation, I don't really know. Maybe it is getting a lot of play in Ohio. And how dare I act like I know what's going on radio stations in Ohio. Welcome to the Living Room Show. My name is Aaron. I am your MC for this evening. A couple of quick announcements before we get started. First of all, this is stand-up comedy on Zoom. The premier way to be viewing stand-up comedy. A couple of suggestions on making this the best stand-up comedy experience possible. If you are somewhere with not too much background noise, if you can unmute yourself, that would be fantastic. We want to hear your awesome, amazing laughter. It really just helps all the comics feel like they're not just talking to themselves. So if we could hear your laughter, that would be great. Prasad is unmuted. Love it. Every week he's back. And we got Ron and Laura are here. They've got their amazing laughers. We love it. And we got Elizabeth, Ann, and Julie are unmuted. I love it. I'm assuming there's 3 of you there, or just Elizabeth just has enough laughter that it counts for 3 people. I am not sure. Mike is unmuted. I like it. Proud member of the audience is also unmuted, and my parents are here unmuted. Everybody, so be nice. Gordon is unmuted. Bill's wow, we got Joni's unmuted. Wow, if I guilt you all, you unmute yourself. Why didn't I do this from the beginning? I should have done this 5 years ago. All right, everybody. Next announcement. If you do currently have a lot of background noise and you're not able to unmute yourself, at least turn your cameras on. Let me see your beautiful, amazing, smiling face. Brandon's always got his camera on, and I love it. If you want to put a fun virtual background like me, look at this. This is a real brick wall, by the way. Really got right behind me. It just goes back infinitely far behind me. Just ignore the fact that it should not be getting further away as I keep reaching back. And that's how you know it's not a virtual background. Next announcement, shout out to everybody watching us on Comedy Hub on Twitch. We appreciate it. Yeah, we love having them here with us each week. One of these days, I will educate myself more on what happens on Twitch beyond just the word video games, because I don't actually know anything beyond saying there's video games on Twitch, and I make myself look so silly every time I say that and call attention to it. Next announcement, this is a free stand-up comedy show. You all know that because you're here and you didn't pay anything, but I don't mind. I'm happy to have you here. If you do want to show the comics some love, if you want to show the show some love, you can send us some tips using the email livingroomcomedy@gmail.com on Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle. We are also on Cash App. I put the links in the chat right there. It's cash.app/$ Aaron Kominos-Smith. And I also accidentally copied and pasted my YouTube link on there as well. I'll take tips in form of YouTube subscriptions. All right. If you want to subscribe to me on YouTube, that is invaluable. That's what that would do. So I will take that over, unless you were going to give a very large tip, in which case don't subscribe. Just send the tip. All right. Just do that, or do both. I mean, that's like sending me millions of dollars. That would be fantastic as well. What if we just spend the rest of the show spent with me trying to convince you to subscribe to me on every social media platform possible? I'm just going to say now, follow me on Instagram, follow me on there, because I'm tired of having cats following me. Let's have some real humans. Guys, Cody Cat is subscribed to me on Instagram. Cody Cat likes all my photos. I don't know if Cody Cat's just stepping on the phone or what. The funny part to me is this is true. There's a real Cody Cat out there that follows me, but it's Cody, Kodi, and then Cat, CAT. Cody, you missed a real opportunity to misspell cat with a K and have it make total sense. All right, like that really should be Cody Cat, KODIKAT, and then we'd be like, oh, that does make sense, just like Kit Kat. Got it. This is fun. This is just me doing observational humor about social media people who follow me, or maybe they don't follow me, because maybe it's just like a human named Mark. I don't know. But it's probably Mark MARC, hence the C and not the K. That's probably why. For Cody Cat, everybody. All right, let's get to it. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Yes. Happy Valentine's Day, or as people like to abbreviate it in texts, V-Day, Happy V-Day, or if you're like me and you misread it and you see it too quickly, you think it says Happy VD Day, and you're like, why? Do you want me to get a venereal disease? Is that what you're saying? Happy Valentine's Day. Hopia chlamydia. That's what it feels like you're telling me. If you guys are wondering how I'm doing health-wise, I know last week I was losing my voice. I could barely talk during the show. Don't worry, I've gotten over that. Instead, now I just have a regular old cold, and I am completely stuffy. I've got a box of tissues sitting right next to me right now. They're not the kind that pull up and then pull the next one with them. You know, they're not the kind that are like, hey, follow me. Like when you take one tissue, these are the kind where you have to individually take one. So they're not started. So I pre-pulled a tissue for myself right here. We're ready to go. Okay. Guys, this is every stand-up comedy show should be with the comedians intimately describing their health and their idiosyncrasies and how they overthink what might happen if they sneeze during the show. That's, if you want to know where my brain is, that's where my brain is. All right, everybody. Guys, I got a serious thing I got to talk about here. Does anyone actually like poppy seed bagels? Is anybody... Like, you know what I wish? If this really soft bagel could cut up the roof of my mouth more as I bit into it, that would be amazing. I don't think poppy seed bagels are enjoyed by anyone. I just think that they were a marketing tool invented by Big Vacuum just to get us to have to clean up our floors more. Yeah, as soon as I have poppy seed bagel one time, like 3 months later, I'm like, oh, we got bed bugs in this apartment. Oh, never mind. We ate a poppy seed bagel one time 3 months ago. That's what this tiny black dot is on the floor. That's all it is. Also, my 3-year-old daughter told me today that she had to change her underwear when she got home because she said she had poppy seeds in her underwear. I hate that. Me too, Ron. I don't know how they got in there. I don't know what she was talking about. More importantly, how does she know what a poppy seed is? I've never given her a poppy seed bagel. Maybe it's from that fun, the fun Purim baking game that we played, where you need like this poppy seed spread to put on the little Hamantaschen that we make. Maybe that's where she learned it. I'm not sure.
Making heroin.
Yeah, that's what it is. She's grinding it down and making. She did take that quick 3-day trip to Afghanistan, so that could be where she learned what to do with poppy seeds. It shows you how much I know about heroin, by the way. Is that I'm like, how do you make it? You take the pot, you put it in a mortar and pestle, and yeah. By the way, I will not pronounce that other T in mortar and pestle. I'm going to say it that way. I'm not going to, because don't give me that, like, you got to kind of mortar and pestle, like, no, it's either hard to, like, pistol or pestle. I'm not, you got to pick one way, because I always feel like I'm always over or under pronouncing the T in mortar and pestle. None of this is written down. Okay, next thing that we all definitely need to be talking about is that very exciting Super Bowl, huh? That was just a real back and forth game. It was a real nail biter. Yeah, that game sucked. That was not fun. Every commercial was like, "Hey, what do you want to do in this commercial? Should we reference something from the '90s?" Whoa, that's a great idea. Is Snoop available? No, he's already booked for 10 other Super Bowl commercials. All right, I guess we can't get Glade plugins to be sponsored by Snoop. I guess we gotta find someone else. Is Fat Joe available? That felt like that was every Super Bowl commercial. Was just finding someone else. I guess Fat Joe was more early 2000s. It was early aughts. Early apologies for the early aughts misreference that I just made. There was at one point, your two announcers, by the way, were Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin Burkhardt, formerly the SNY New York Mets on-field reporter. He worked his way up to the Super Bowl, which, by the way, that's got to be one of like the largest leaps in the shortest amount of time. Tom Brady had to like win multiple Super Bowls and play an entire football career there. Kevin Burkhardt just had to like be kind of interesting on the field when interviewing people. At one point, they showed a picture, or they showed a video of Kevin Hart was in the stands, and Kevin Burkhardt mentioned that Kevin Hart was in the stands and that the camera operator got him, showed a picture of him, and then Tom Brady goes, "Kevin Hart was there. How'd the camera operator find him?" Yeah, the best part, you guys get it, right? Because Kevin Hart is small. You guys get it? Because he's short. Yet Kevin Burkhardt, to his credit, did not laugh at all. And I gotta say, listening to Tom Brady try to make a joke about someone based on his height bombing was my favorite part of the Super Bowl. That was my halftime show. That's all I needed. All right. That and mine is a lot less back and forth that people are going to argue about for weeks to come. All right. On that version. That was exciting. I loved listening to Tom Brady bomb. By the way, he's going to do a guest spot on the show. One of my wife's co-teachers, by the way, at her high school, her first month there, was actually a guy named Tom Brady. Oh, no. That was his name, and he did not go by Thomas Brady. He went by Tom Brady. That was the name he went with. It was like his first year teaching, and the whole time I'm like, did you ever like, does he drop something on the floor, and you're just like, ooh, Tom Brady. Guess you gotta get a little better at throwing. She said she like never took the opportunity to make the joke, and then they didn't have enough students, and he got let go after a month. So now the opportunity will never be there for her to make all these amazing Tom Brady references to guys, the Tom Brady. All right. I think you guys get it. I think you guys understand. All right. Before I forget, by the way, happy 51st night of Hanukkah, everyone. Actually, Brandon, I believe, sent me a message, and he said only 303 days until the next Hanukkah, which I believe that's the correct math, right? This isn't although that I would say 304 because we're 51 out, and I don't know if this is a leap year. I'm not sure. And the Jewish calendar is not it doesn't follow the normal calendar. This is ours. Jewish calendar actually has a leap month, I believe. At least someone told me that once a long time ago. And I don't feel like Googling anything, so I don't know. That could be real. I don't actually pay attention. All right, everybody. Are we having fun? Are we excited to have some fun tonight with all our comics that we've got? Yeah. All right. Oh, good. Everybody made it. Everyone's here. I like it. We got a fun audience. There's a fun set. These are all comics, I believe, who have done this show before, and I'm happy to have them back. You're going to recognize our final group, our duo group. I think you'll know them. But our first, we're not going to say first. I'm going to say the next performer that we have coming up. I'm the first one, right? Yeah. The next performer coming up right now, she is absolutely hilarious. Love having her on the show. We did a show together in New Jersey a very long time ago. We drove together out there at a theater that I will no longer mention because the theater canceled the show on me, even though I had multiple ones booked. So if anyone here was going to support the New Jersey Repertory Company in Long Branch, New Jersey, cancel your tickets. Screw them. I don't really care. Super unprofessional. We're going to bring this next comic up right now. She did a great job at that show. We love having her here right now. Let's hear it for the amazing and talented Sonia Vai, everybody. Let her hear it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Aaron. Great job. I love that you were talking about the Super Bowl. And I don't know if you guys noticed the Jesus ads. Did you guys see the Jesus ads? Yeah. Right? I thought like, okay, this is why Christianity is number one. Okay, they go all out. Like no other religion is doing this. I give them a props. I really do. I mean, who else? Like you don't see an ad for Allah or Krishna. You know what I mean? Like all the other religions should just stop now because they're losing. That's what I learned about it. Although I did think that the ad was a little confusing. Like, I don't think it really explained what Christianity is really about. Like, in my opinion, Christianity is really about like selling you Prozac for your soul. Like, they want to make everything better. And because of that, I feel like next year I'd really like to see another Jesus ad, but I'd like them to redo it. Like, I'd like it to be more like a pharmaceutical ad, and I can have like the idea. I'm ready to give it to them. So I'm going to test it out on you guys. Okay. It starts with, do you have restless soul syndrome? Can't sleep from all that sinning? Well, ask your doctor about Jesus Christ today. Accept him as your Lord and Savior, and your soul will go to heaven. Warning, side effects include God's fury, eternal damnation, and night sweats. But I think I have something there, right? I think I would love to see something like that on television. I really would. I think it would be a blast. And then Aaron, you were mentioning V-Day. I've never been a big fan. I think I've been single for every single Valentine's Day of my life. But it doesn't really bother me. I mean, obviously, it's just to make single women feel bad for being single. It's another thing that the patriarchy does to make us feel less than. So I think we should replace Valentine's Day with VD Day. Like, I think that was a great idea. Better. I think one, it will make everyone feel good about themselves or not so good about themselves, but like, I think it would, even if you had VD, you'd feel good because you're like, oh, I'm getting celebrated today, I look at STI so differently now, because I'm in my 40s now. And when I was in my 20s, like, if any of my friends or if something happened, like if somebody got chlamydia, people would be crying. Like, I remember I got HPV and I was like dying. I was like bawling. I thought my life was over, and I was fine eventually. But recently, a girlfriend of mine, she's also in her 40s, she told me that she got chlamydia. And I was like, stop showing off, okay? Like, it just means something so different now, And I'm like, okay, you got lucky. You don't need to let the whole world know about it. Sadly, I do not have chlamydia. I never thought I'd say that, but it's true. I did have a story for you guys. I did meet a man recently, and I have to say, I believe this man is the love of my life. I really do. And I have to tell you from the beginning. Yeah, it's a pretty incredible. Okay, so I went to a wedding in India recently. Okay. And, you're probably thinking, like, how could you, Sonia, afford that? Of course I can't, but my friends who threw the wedding, they're extremely wealthy. So they paid for everybody's flight and even like wedding outfits, and it was a $7 million wedding. If you can believe it, that's how it's supposed to go. And then I even did the math, and I was like, okay, with the flight and the hotel, that's like 6 months rent. So I kind of just wanted to be like, could you just give me the money? If you're really good friends, like, you should look out for me. But I didn't say that. I didn't say that because I'm a great friend, but I do think they have ruined it for me because now, anytime I'm invited to a wedding, I'm just going to be like, yeah, but what's in it for me? Let's say so I got to go to India for free for a week. We went to Jaipur. It felt like I won the lottery. I feel like a Bollywood princess, if I'm going to be honest. And I got to stay at a 5-star hotel, and this is embarrassing, but I didn't know 5-star hotels existed. I thought the highest was 4-star. That's my life, So I got to stay in that. It was really incredible. And then the night before the wedding, there was this party just for all the friends, like none of the family, right? And so it was incredible. We were in this like remote location at this restaurant. And it looked like a mini Taj Mahal, and there was open bar and a live DJ and a stage and everything. Everyone's partying, and I see this guy really cute, and he comes up to me, and kind of like you have that instant chemistry, right? We had that, and he was telling me he's a health guru. which was a little confusing to me, but at the same time, my mind immediately went to, like, the second I saw him and I liked him, and my mind immediately like created our whole life story together, you know? And so I just thought, oh, I can't wait to tell my mother this, like that he's a health guru. I mean, my mom always wanted me to marry an Indian doctor, but I think this is better because it's all the profit and none of the med school, you know? So I'm already like, okay, he's rich, he's single. He's telling me that they have all these really plant-based products and they're like preservative-free and lactose-free. And I was like, I just thought that sounds like it's flavor-free, but who am I to judge, you know, because I'm going to marry this guy. And then he told me about all these cleanses that they have that's really popular, these juice cleanses for like immunity, vitality, longevity. And that night, like just looking at him, I could tell he was on a cleanse. I mean, it was a margarita cleanse, so a little bit different, you know, having a good time. And he gets on stage and he looks in my eyes. And he goes, "This is going to be the best night of our lives. You know, it's a night we're never going to forget." And I thought, yeah, he's never going to forget it because I'm going to get pregnant accidentally. Okay. This is what I got to do now. It's reality. I'm okay with it. And then he comes back and we're dancing. And then he falls down, right? And I was like, ooh, I think the margarita cleanse just kicked in, right? And then he wasn't getting up, so I got a little bit nervous, right? So I kind of was like trying to shake him. And then when he didn't get up, like, of course, I said, "Is there a doctor in the house?" And we're in India, so it was like a stampede. It was like the running of bulls. Like you just had doctor, and it was like football, you know, doctor and top of doctor. They're just all trying to get on him. And it turns out that he died.
My goodness.
Massive heart attack at 42. And listen, guys, I don't want you to feel bad for him, okay? Because he's dead. Feel bad for me. All right. I have never had that dramatic of rejection. Like, I'm sorry, but I've never been live ghosted. Okay. That's a new low. I mean, is that what an Irish goodbye is? Is that what we're really doing right now? Irish. I know. And I was like, I'm not kidding. I did plan our whole lives together. I was planning our wedding and he went straight to "till death do us part." That's just not fair. But I think
better than in bed.
Sorry?
Better than in bed.
Better. Oh, thank you. Thank you for making it. That's going to be my my closer now. It's going to be like, well, at least he didn't die on top of me. You know? I don't know. It's been better for, you know, 'cause it's fair. It's fine. So now I'm back. I'm back on the streets, you know, just doing my thing, dating. And I got to say, it's like I'm back on the wackos. Like they're just wackos. Maybe it's because I am one. That's just what, you know, like attracts like or whatever. But I went out with a guy recently and he, you know, we were talking about what we're doing and he asked me what I did for a living. And so I was like, I'm a comedian. I thought that was a normal thing to say. Right. And he goes, "Oh, you don't look like a comedian." And I was just like, oh my God, what does that mean? Like, what do I look like? You know? And he goes, "You look like a high school math teacher who has sex with her students." And what about me looks like I'm good at math? Okay. Or from Florida. And I'm really glad this is a Zoom show because if you're from Florida and I was live, I would just be so afraid that you'd shoot me. So anyway, I think that just tells you a lot about what my dating life is like. And I think, you know, I'm so jealous of couples now. I really am. And I have to say, if you are a couple, like, just don't leave. Okay, don't leave. Nothing out here in these streets. Take it from me. And some of you are older. Like, if you were single now, you wouldn't know what to do with yourselves because you can't get on the phone. Everyone has to date on apps now. And these apps, I'm convinced that these apps are just created by old men so they could date young women because it doesn't matter how old these guys get. They start their age range for women at 23. 23. Now, look, listen, I'm a good-looking girl. I know I can get a guy to come home with me, but I can't compete again. I don't want to compete against a 23-year-old. Okay, that's insane. Like Tiffany, 23. You know, I can't do it. I can't do it. These women in their 20s, they're like puppies. Okay, and everybody loves puppies. I mean, think about it. They're full of hope. They've got love, and they'll lick anything. And I am just not doing that anymore. Okay. Unless it's dipped in chocolate and comes with a trust fund. Okay, everyone has a line. I just happen to know mine. Okay, it's just what it is. I kind of get it too. Like, I get it why men are attracted to younger women, because they're just easier to please. You know, they just want attention and shoes. And it's like, not me. Like, at my age, I need things like a commitment, therapy, medication for my mood swings. I cry for no reason at all. So I get it. I get it. I need to be medicated. That's what I was saying. I get it. Men, look, these women in their 20s, they are the best. You know, I used to be a pup myself, but they're not trained. Okay? Women in their 20s, not trained. You give 25-year-old Tiffany too much to drink and she'll ruin your rug. All right? Not me. I'm loyal. I do tricks. If I'm tired, I'll roll over and play dead. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's what I'm going to put on my dating profile. I'll roll over and play dead.
Oh, God.
And sorry, I'm looking down. I was just checking the time, but I think I'm at 12. So this was so fun, guys. Thank you so much for letting me share my story. And it's so great to see a lot of you on Zoom. And I'm going to give it back to Aaron. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. That was great.
Keep it going for Sonia, everybody. Yeah, keep it going for Sonia. All right. Yeah, definitely dating on the apps. No idea what that's like. And I'm so happy that my wife and I have been together for long enough that I don't have to think about that at all. I think my wife and I realized the other day it's been 18 years. Wow. Yeah, that's, you know how long that is? That's high years. That's how many it is. Jews? Looking around? Nope, not too many Jews. Okay, my parents got it. Okay, we're going to keep this show rocking and rolling, everybody. This next comic is absolutely hilarious. It might only be his second time doing the show. That's sad, but happy to have him back. Let's hear right now for the amazing and talented and lovely Mr. Chris Griggs, everybody. Let him hear it.
Yeah, all right. Come on. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Hope you find the love you're with. Anyway, I'm going to do I finally got good health insurance this year. It's sad, but I do. And it's not been good. You know, I'll be honest. I'm not ashamed to say that during the pandemic, I tried to do a sneak on a Canadian medical website to get good health insurance, and they denied my application. They said being an American was a pre-existing condition. I'm from Tennessee, from Memphis, y'all. So I'll tell you, I'll come out hot out of the gate. The greatest people in the world are Southerners. Southerners. But only the ones that have explored other cultures, have been educated, have traveled, have read books, and the Bible doesn't count. We have a name for those Southerners. We call them Australians, and they're kind of awesome. My brother's actually on this one, so I'll tell a little story about. I don't know if you know this. Here's some Memphis trivia for you. The 11th largest pyramid structure in the world is in Memphis, Tennessee. 11th largest pyramid structure in the world is in Memphis, Tennessee, and it was going to be a huge tourist attraction. Nobody cared. It went bankrupt, and it's now owned by the Bass Pro Shop. It's 40-plus stores. It's insane. My brother's showing me around for the first time there. There's 40. Like, look, you can catfish there. There's an archery range. There's a live gun range. You can jet ski in this pyramid. My brother goes, "You can find anything here, bro." And I'm like, cool. So I started looking around for ethnic diversity, and rainbow trout doesn't count. Job application. I don't like to be embarrassed, if I'm being honest. I'm in New York. My New York friends. I don't want to get embarrassed with my New York friends. So, like, I tell you when it all started. Here's my big PTSD. the moment with Memphis. The mayor of Memphis is supposed to give the Dalai Lama a civil rights award, and all I want him to do is give him the award, civil rights award. Dalai Lama, big deal. Don't embarrass me. Just be cool. Give him the award. And you can Google this. He goes right up to the Dalai Lama with the award and goes, "Oh, well, hello, Dalai."
Oh, no.
And the Dalai Lama's like, "Oh, wordplay. That was hilarious 3 reincarnations ago. It's embarrassing." That's what I'm saying. My best friend is a girl named Melissa. And Melissa and I, we've known each other for a long time, 15 plus years, and we're platonic. No sexy sex with us, all very platonic. You know what I'm saying? And but I can't relate to her and help her with her romance stuff because we think differently. You know what I mean? Like she's dating a French guy right now, and he cheated on her with her best friend, dumped her, and now she's back together with him. And she wants to talk to me about it. I can't, you know, like she's all boohoo, what's his deal? I'm like boohoo, what's his secret? Like I can't get a vibe with you on that. And she has this thing where she's like, "Hey, if neither one of us are married, you know, in the next 10 years," and I'm like, "We're not even attracted to each other, you know, like why buy the cow when you're lactose intolerant?" You know what I mean? So I teach storytelling 2 hours a week in a high school in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Wow. I'm the only white guy in the building, right? So this was my first day. My last name is Griggs, at Chris Griggs on Instagram. I'm Griggs. So my first day, I went up to these mostly 17 to 18-year-old young black men, and they were very excited to see me, you know, it seemed. And my engagement, this is my first moment with them. It's like, Mr. G, we're excited to meet you, Mr. G. We're going to have a good time, Mr. G. Ready to learn. It's a safe space, Mr. G. You can talk about anything with us. Safe space. Let's talk, Mr. G. Cool. So I turn around and they go, "Mr. G, what do you think about reparations?" Camera. It was not a safe space. You know, they're trying to get me on video. Mr. G ain't about to get got. You know what I'm saying? My favorite guy in the class is Robert. I love Robert. Now, I don't know if you know this about 17 to 18-year-old young men, and I know this is a family show, so I'm going to not make this gratuitous. It's just they like to kind of gently hump the air. Nothing gratuitous. They don't put a lot of pelvic. It's just a lot of this. They just kind of like to bounce around, you know, little humpty humps, very safe. Nothing. No one's going to get hurt. So Robert's telling a story, and Robert likes to hump a little more than the rest of the people. You know? Robert's telling this story during story time, and in the middle of the story, Robert jumps up, grabs a locker, and just starts thrusting, humping the locker as hard as he can. And by the way, it didn't even make sense in the story. No, it was a very Kubrick kind of thing. It made no sense in the storyline. Just humping. And then the principal walks in, and Robert, without missing a beat, he stands up, turns around, pops, catches center light, and goes, "I think that's where Darwinism comes from." The principal comes up to me and goes, "Nice job, Mr. G. You're helping these young men. Good job. Nice." He leaves. I go right up to Robert, and I go, "Robert, I think you just saved my job." And he goes, "Don't worry, Mr. G. It's a safe space. You're the white devil I know."
That's a great story.
Thank you. You know what? Yeah, that's a great thing about New York. Some stories just write themselves. That's actually just pretty much a true story. Anyway, speaking of truth, one of my other best friends, by the way, I talked about Melissa. One of my other best friends, his name is Daryl. Daryl is a 60-year-old black man, and we've been friends for a long time, and I'm always trying to get him to improvise with me. Daryl, come improvise with me. Let's improv. You know, whose line is it anyway? Let's do some make-em-ups, you know? And Daryl's like, "Why do I want to be in a dimly lit room with a bunch of white people saying the first thing that comes to their mind?" Like to know that's not just funny in Manhattan. So good. There's improv in the world, and it's still dominated by white people. That makes me good. It's a good little upset there, Fox. Daryl, by the way, Daryl's been married 30 years, y'all, 30 years. And he just got divorced 2 months ago. Wow. No, right? That is so sad. I watched my best friend Daryl overnight go from being asexual to asexual predator like that. Like, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Is that a little too dark for you? Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, Daryl also told me that, hey, Chris, if neither one of us are married by the time we turn 65, I'm like, Daryl. I promise, Daryl, if neither one of us are married by the time you turn 65, we will, in fact, hunt each other for sport. By the way, I would never, shame on you people, I would never hunt Daryl for sport because my whole class would be running around wherever we are going, Mr. G, why are you hunting Daryl? What's going on, Mr. G? I would never do that. Never do that. We got some, we talked about religion. I heard that Sonia was talking about religion. I grew up in church. You had to kind of grow up in church back then, you know what I mean? By the way, for real, like, I was on a competitive Bible quiz team when I was a kid. Like, you know, hitting buzzers, answering Bible quiz questions, like Jeopardy style. That's for real, you know, teenager. And there was nothing else going on, small town, Tennessee, and they treated it like a sport. And we competed against other faiths.
Oh.
We had a Billy Bob Thornton Friday Night Lights dude who would just show up, kicking open doors, boom. Hey! You're my go-to guy on Genesis, Chris. Hey, guys. We got those Lutherans tomorrow, boys. It's a big game day, so no heavy petting. We were pretty good, everybody. We got to the Interfaith State Championship, but we got beat by a Jewish team in the Old Testament. Like, that was a little bit of a bummer. All right, so I don't know how this one's going to go. This may be a little too dark, but it won't be dirty. It just might be too dark. Anyway, so, hey, guys, I've read my Bible. And you know Mary was 14 when she decided to have God's baby? Jesus may have been born without sin, but Mary was born without parental guidance. That's what I'm trying to say. By the way, ladies, I don't know. I know you don't want me to talk about this, but I don't hear ladies talking about this. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm going to tell you. Women ain't saying it. I'm going to say it. Mary literally prayed to God. Now, I'm not an expert, but I think that's a power dynamic. You know what I'm saying? A little bit. You know, I'm not saying you should meet too God, but. All right, fair enough. Too dark. All right. Hey, let's go here. I think that'll work in other rooms. Okay. Joseph, by the way, Joseph, that's rock and roll, man. He hit the lotto, right? Joseph is probably like, yeah, God, man, right on. I'll raise that baby. That'll be great. I'll be rich. You know, and God's like, no, you're going to be poor. You got to work. You're going to work your fingers to the bone your whole life. And he's like, oh, whatever, God. You know what? That's cool. I like you, man. I pray to you. I tell you what, at least it's not like Jesus is going to be white. I promise, oh my God, honor, Jesus will not be white. I mean, technically. I mean, he is going to be white, but me and the angels are working on a PR strategy. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to go white to make the green. You don't understand that now, but one day that'll make more sense. You know, think global, act local. And then Joseph is probably like, why does Mary want to be in a sexless marriage with me anyway, God? And then God is like, just between me and you, Mary's all about the ladies, but Jerusalem ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, I wasn't going to talk about this, but no, I don't. I have 30 seconds. Okay, I don't have time. I was going to do another thing. Anyway, all right, so here's... no, man, I want to get off on time. I want to see Dustin and Leah. All right, so anyway, I don't think I've seen Dustin since the last time we were on a Zoom show in the pandemic, dude. It's so funny. Anyway, okay, I'll end on this. So I don't think young people respect me. You know what I mean? I had this little 21-year-old, good-looking little dude. He comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, mister, where's the fun at?" And I'm so angry, you know? Because I know that he knows that I don't know where any fun is, right? I do not like this kid. I hate this kid. I hate him. I hate this kid. And you know why? Because, you know what? We don't even have the same fun. He's 21. He's good looking. You know what his fun is? He's going to go to the club and do some dancing, take his shirt off, hang out with beautiful people. Maybe later on that night, he'll take some Adderall and write bad poetry. That's his fun. That's his jam. You know what my fun is? You know what I like to do? Legit. This is my fun. I like to go to any workplace kitchen, lay out empty pizza boxes, hide, watch people open them throughout the day, and get sad. That's my fun. My jam. Hashtag Mondays. That's it. What if I ask you questions, little buckaroos, that you don't know the answer to? Like, where's the stamp on the paper envelope? Or, what kind of attributes should one look for in a primary care physician? It doesn't feel good, does it? I ask you those hard questions. Hurt your feelings. If you want to make anyone under 25 hate you immediately, tell them you'll pay them by check. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Keep it going for Chris, everybody. You'll pay them by check, or these days cash, just actual cash. I believe it or not, I don't just do stand-up comedy. I do SAT tutoring a couple days a week because it pays just a tad more than stand-up comedy. And one of my students did say to me, I said something about like, I referenced one of the presidents who was on one of the coins. She was utterly confused. And I was like, oh no, that's the president who's on the quarter. And she was like, wait, what? And she just didn't understand what change was. And then she told me she has a phobia of money because it's dirty. That actually is pretty true. I don't know if this is a true statistic or I just heard it, but supposedly there's more cocaine on a dollar bill than on, I don't actually know what it was being compared to, but there's cocaine on a dollar bill apparently, which I think you make from just grinding poppy seeds in a thing. I think that's wow, I just accidentally called myself back. Good for me. I'm pretty good at comedy when I have a head cold. I'm pretty proud of myself. By the way, I will be spending the rest of this evening wondering how they figured out the 11th largest pyramid structure. I feel like, as terms of like size of pyramid structures, I just assumed we stopped counting at 1. They're like Giza, and then they're like, are we gonna really look anywhere else? They kind of all look the same.
AI, so that may not be a technically correct answer. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Although speaking of money, there is a pyramid on our money with an eyeball on it. But kids these days, they won't know that. Everybody, we've got one more set of performers for you. Before we get to this final set of performers, though, this is that point where I do have to remind you that this is a free stand-up comedy show. And how do we get to bring this next duo up joining us from the West Coast? By sending them money and cash. And how do I get to do that? By you sending me money and cash. You can use that by doing the email livingroomcomedy@gmail.com. You could find me on Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, and Cash App, $Aaron Kominos-Smith on the Cash App, which I've had 2 people use in the last 2 weeks, and it's absolutely amazing. And then next week, I'm going to remember to actually write down all the people who've sent tips over the last 3 weeks and thank them all right before bringing up our final performer to keep delaying our next performer and whatever momentum that there was that I've slowly just taken the air out of. I am so excited for this group right now. You have seen both of them perform on the show, but always individually, frequently close to each other, but never this close. This may be the closest I've ever seen them sitting to each other, and they're performing a thing together. Let's hear right now for the amazing and talented, the duo that we've all been waiting for, Dustin and Leah, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh my goodness. Happy Valentine's Day.
Russell Stover, because I'm classy. You've been in a relationship way too long when you get your girlfriend a box of Russell Stover chocolate and Chick-fil-A.
To be fair, that's what I wanted. I will say that right before Aaron brought us up, I was like, should we just turn off our computer and text him that we lost Wi-Fi?
Good today. Good. You can't follow Mr. G.
We have not done, we thought it'd be a fun thing for Valentine's Day because we are a comedy couple. We haven't done this before. We did go on tour for the first time together. We had never worked together. And then this year we went on tour.
20 states.
20 states, which is 2 states less than us breaking up.
Yeah.
Got engaged.
Good.
Thank you.
15 years ago.
15 years ago. We
Taking our time. Yeah.
I think the problem with us getting married is that we're both comics.
Yeah, and every time we plan a wedding, somebody gets a gig.
You know what I mean? You're like, I'd love to marry you, but I got to hit this American Legion for $250.
Priorities, man.
What was the other thing?
We don't argue a lot, but when we do, we end every argument with, I'm going to use that. Should have frozen the Wi-Fi. I will say, I was going to tell a story about Dustin.
Yes, please.
This story is about romance. It starts off dark, ends happy. So recently, we're in Los Angeles. Our block was evacuated for the fires, and we're back home. I still feel so grateful. It reminded me of all the times that we have had to move last minute because of crises. And so when we still lived in New York, I was in Midtown Manhattan at a job. Dustin was back in Queens. I get a phone call that my mom has been in a car crash. My mom is alive, so I don't want you guys to worry about it through this whole joke story. So she makes it. But I get a phone call that it's not doing well. She's in Philly. Can I get to the hospital? I'm upset. I call Dustin. I go, pack me a suitcase. I'm going to have to stay a while. Pack all my clothes. He meets me in Midtown. We rent a car. We drive to Philly. I get there, longest night of my life, right? They have to bring in another doctor. I have to call my father. My parents have been married 50 years and tell him they don't think she's going to make it. It's horrible. We're exhausted. We make it through the night. She survives. The nurses let me sleep in her, next to her in the room. I open the suitcase. What do we think is in this suitcase? Toothpaste, pants, pajamas, a whole suitcase full of push-up bras and low-cut shirts. No exaggeration, the entire suitcase. And I look at Dustin and I go, what happened here?
Well, boobs make me happy.
Yeah, that's looked at it like he was confused, like he'd forgotten he backed it. And he was just like, oh.
Yeah. In my defense, it was all that was in front of me. Well, but I showed up. That's all that matters.
They showed up just like it.
I think one of the hardest parts of a relationship is introducing your person to your family. I think I always feel that's a crapshoot. I always feel like my family is going to run my girlfriend out of my life. Just hanging out with my family. And I was hanging out with my mom. She's an assisted living place, and that's always weird. I didn't realize how horny older men were. Ooh. But I squared up with a guy in a walker to back off my mom. But we had Thanksgiving dinner with my brother, and my brother, all he talks about the entire time is being in the Army. Here's the deal: he was never in the Army. I go,
oh. You were in the Army. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what he calls prison. So tell everybody, nobody wants to join the Army when they hear his story. Your turn.
You have 2 dogs. We got 2 dogs. We're obsessed with them. We've definitely been chasing them around the house, trying to put outfits on them.
Yeah, we have 2 kinds of dogs. We have one dog that's extremely smart, intuitive, and the other one eats pins. That's the 2.
And Dustin takes them out when it's raining because I can't get them to pee, and it makes me cry. So he is on rain duty whenever it's raining, and he was chasing the dogs around trying to put them in. They have rain gear. They have rain jackets. He was right. So cute. I thought he's chasing them around in the rain jackets, and he looked at me and he goes, "What happened to my life?"
Like a rock star, leather pants. Now I'm facing a Shih Tzu around the apartment, trying to put a jacket. We travel with our dogs. I don't know if anybody does that. That's always a test, you know. And we had a flight coming up. We were going to fly, with our dog, and our dog, Delta Airlines. Your dog has to be under 20 pounds.
Under 20.
Yeah, and then our dog got fat over the holidays.
Thick.
Chunky. She got chunky.
Curvy.
She got chunky. So to cut weight with the dog. I don't know if everybody's ever tried to do that. Running in a bag, making a chicken like a Rocky montage. Gave her keto dog food. Yeah, she gained 3 pounds a week. Yeah, she's my Delta, but she's ready for the octagon. Yeah. Jack, they've been around a Jack dog. They're annoying. All they talk about is creatine and Joe Rogan. It is. They're just flat. Your turn.
We had guinea pigs before we got dogs, which is when we lived in New York, which is a real New York City pet. We got it from a Subway. We stole a rat and put an outfit on it. They were very prolific. They were libertarians, which we're not libertarians, but we wanted to support their political beliefs. And so they had a very popular Twitter account, very popular. And when they died, I said to my therapist, I was like, do you think we should leave it up as like a homage or take it down? And she was like, come on, Leah, you guys are writing your guinea pig's Twitter account. Of course we know. You know what I mean? We're functional. Like we're both functional. Have you guys seen guinea pig hands? They're a little want to type with that.
Valentine's Day, Leah got me the worst possible gift of all time, a fish tank.
I did.
You fish people, but we got the African cichlids, which is basically it's like having like the Crips and the Bloods in one tank.
Woo!
You buy come home to one tank, and every day just fish floating on the top.
Oh.
And what I didn't know actually until the pandemic, Dustin told me that he was taking them back to the fish store because I would come home and there would be less fish. And I don't know if you can tell because I have a new dewy moisturizer. I'm a full-grown adult, and I missed it. And somebody that our fish were dying and he was flushing them. And I was like, I thought you were taking them back to the fish store. It was like, I never thought that you actually thought that. I will say that Dustin really was dedicated to the fish. He would change the backgrounds for the fish for different seasons. So they had like autumnal foliage and summer foliage. Very interesting. I come home one day. He had Janet, which is our favorite fish.
Yes.
We named them after the Jackson 5. He had her in a separate tank alone, and he's staring at the jar. And I go, babe, what happened? And he said, I put her on a timeout.
Oh, no.
He was bullying the other fish.
Oh.
Okay.
That's when you know this is some type of
George and Gracie.
So Leah is a incredible person. If you know Leah, she's a gentle, beautiful soul. She
Thank
really
you.
is. She changed my life. Without her, I would definitely be in prison because she taught me how to do this thing called paying taxes, which I never did.
Literally never.
Yeah. And she's a beautiful person. She's kind. She's almost too kind. She's such a gentle, beautiful flower of a soul, except when she's driving. And that's when it's she will. I mean, if you don't wave, she will call you home. Like if you she lets you in front of them and you don't wave back. I mean, it's a thing. And she's just crushing, I want to kill you, and her head's spinning around. It's
I won't lie about it. If somebody lets you into traffic and you don't wave, I mean, you deserve to be followed home. It's disrespect. I will say we've been talking about a lot of church. I still go to church, and when I say, you say the Lord's Prayer when it goes, forgive our trespasses as those who trespass against us. I always look up at God and I go, I'm not forgiving anybody, and then we wink at each other. That's how I drive.
I don't think comics should ever be together. I think we're a rare exception. I think there's a few people that have figured it out. If you come to our house, it is just pure chaos, and it's like two 12-year-olds. Just nobody cleans. It's just like a comedy condo. Yeah, it's horrible. Leah doesn't. She does it. She's a butterfly. She leaves everything out. It's really bad. Yeah, I tried to bring in a cleaner. I was bringing in a professional. And in LA, if you're a guy and you order the maid service, they only send men. So I don't want to be old fashioned, but I don't want a dude cleaning my house. I'm sorry. You guys are rough. And I went to meet the guy. He was dragging a dirty vacuum cleaner down the sidewalk. And he had cleans and flip-flops. Right? And so he's got fresh out of prison, and he comes to my house, and I'm following around and picking up things I don't want him to steal. So I have like a laptop, an iPad, and then he cleaned my bathroom, and I tell you what, the cleanest it's ever been. He cleaned it spotless with a toothbrush. It was.
Thank you so much for having us, Aaron, and working on our Valentine's.
We got through it.
Yeah. Woo! Keep it going for the new duo, the new George Burns and Gracie. That's what Leah texted me when I said, do you want to do the show? And she said it's a duo act, and she said new George Burns and Gracie Allen. Said more like Jack Benny and Rochester. That's what I was thinking. But we'll see. I did a quick TV interview today, by the way, up at Columbia University. It was a student project. But they did ask me who my influences were, and I feel like it's the first time this kid has ever heard anyone say the names Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, Abbott and Costello. Like, I said these names, and you could tell this kid was just like, are these people? Like, you could tell he just like, I think I could have just been making it up. Like, the old Freddie and May, right? They're a famous Borscht Belt duo. Like, he had no idea what I was talking about, everyone. Keep going for all the comics that you have seen. For Dustin, Leah, for Chris, for Sonia, and clap it up for yourselves for being an amazing audience. This is me clapping for all of you, and this is my weekly reminder. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Funny Aaron on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Threads, I'm Funny Aaron on Threads. On Facebook, I'm Funny Aaron on there. YouTube, Funny Aaron on YouTube. You can subscribe, all right? I'm this close to that 500 threshold. I got 4 new subscribers after last week, you guys. And for the first time, I got 1 unsubscribe last week. It was kind of weird. I've never seen it. I don't know if it was one of you who subscribed and then was like, what have I done? And then unsubscribed. But go and subscribe to me on YouTube. YouTube's great. It doesn't show how many people you are subscribed to. So it's not like that weird thing on Instagram where you're like, oh, look at all his followers. He's following 10,000 people. That's why. It's not like that kind of thing. So there's no pressure. Just subscribe on YouTube. I don't know why you're not doing it right now. Why are you still here? I should be getting 23 new subscriptions after today. Everyone, go ahead and do send us some tips, livingroomcomedy@gmail.com. You guys, you have been an amazing audience. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll be back next Friday with all new comics. You guys are amazing. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay classy. Just stay, all right? Don't go anywhere. Just stay where you are. Thank you so much. We'll hang out for a few and chat. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.